Hey, do you think Spider-Man would survive if he was transported to the Demon Slayer universe?
That's an interesting crossover. Spider Man would definitely have some advantages, like his agility, spider sense, and web shooting abilities. These would give him a leg up in terms of mobility and sensing danger. However, the Demon Slayer universe is packed with powerful demons and highly skilled fighters, many of whom have extraordinary abilities and techniques that might challenge Spider Man's typical advantages. His enhanced reflexes and strength could help him adapt quickly, but dealing with demon techniques and combat styles might be a new challenge. Depending on how well he can adjust to the unique threats and combat dynamics of that world, he could potentially survive and even thrive, but it would certainly be a tough fight.
Give me a detailed scenario of what a fight between Spider-Man and an Upper Moon demon would look like.
Sure thing. Let's imagine Spider Man being transported to the world of Demon Slayer and facing off against an Upper Moon demon, say Upper Moon 6, Daki, and Gyutaro. Hash scenario Spider Man versus Daki and Gyutaro. The fight takes place in a moonlit, abandoned village with narrow alleyways, crumbling buildings, and rooftops covered in debris, perfect for Spider Man to use his agility to his advantage. The encounter Spider Man swings into the village, his spider sense tingling as he senses the presence of powerful foes. Daki and Gyutaro, known for their coordinated attacks and deadly techniques, are on the hunt for prey. Initial clash 1. Spider Man's entrance. Spider Man lands on a rooftop, surveying the area. He spots Daki and Gyutaro and decides to engage. He uses his web shooters to launch himself into the fray, aiming for a quick surprise attack. 2. Daki's response. Daki, with her long, flowing, razor-sharp obi sash, lashes out with her threads, which can slice through almost anything. She uses her threads to ensnare Spider-Man, but his spider sense alerts him in time, allowing him to dodge and weave through the threads with acrobatic finesse. 3. Gyutaro's attack. Gyutaro, armed with his deadly sickles and poison-infused attacks, moves in to flank Spider-Man. He attacks with a series of rapid, precise strikes. Spider-Man dodges and counters with a combination of webbing and physical attacks. Mid-fight dynamics. 4. Webbing versus threads. Spider-Man uses his webbing to try and entangle Daki's threads, creating barriers to block her attacks. Daki responds by slicing through the webbing with her powerful sash, demonstrating her superior skill. 5. Gyutaro's poison. Gyutaro uses his poison attacks strategically, attempting to wear down Spider-Man. Spider-Man is able to avoid most of the poison by staying mobile and using his agility. However, Gyutaro's relentless assault forces Spider-Man to stay on high alert. Spider-Man's tactics. Realizing the need for strategy, Spider-Man starts using the environment to his advantage, swinging between buildings to avoid direct confrontation and using his webs to create obstacles. He aims to wear them down and find an opening. Climactic moments. 7. Daki's wrath. As the battle intensifies, Daki becomes more aggressive, using her threads in intricate patterns to trap Spider-Man. She manages to ensnare him momentarily, but Spider-Man uses his strength and webbing to break free, flipping out of the trap with his trademark agility. 8. Gyutaro's rage. Gyutaro, frustrated by Spider-Man's resilience, uses a powerful poison attack that Spider-Man narrowly avoids. Spider-Man counters with a series of rapid web shots and punches, aiming for Gyutaro's weak points. 9. Combining forces. The two demons coordinate their attacks, making it increasingly difficult for Spider-Man to keep up. Daki uses her threads to restrict Spider-Man's movement, while Gyutaro's poison clouds the area, creating a hazardous environment. Resolution. 10. Spider-Man's clever strategy. Spider-Man decides to exploit the demon's coordination issues. He uses his webs to create confusion, ensnaring Daki's threads and causing them to tangle. He then focuses on Gyutaro, using his agility to outmaneuver the poison sickles and land a decisive blow. 11. Final showdown. Spider-Man, now having a slight edge, combines his web shooting and physical prowess to create openings. He manages to land a critical hit on Gyutaro, causing significant damage. With Gyutaro incapacitated, Daki's effectiveness is greatly reduced. 12. Daki's defeat. Daki, seeing her partner fall, becomes increasingly desperate. Spider-Man uses the opportunity to outmaneuver her and deliver a final, powerful blow, utilizing his webbing to neutralize her and ensure she can't attack further. Aftermath. Spider-Man, though exhausted, stands victorious. He surveys the defeated demons and takes a moment to catch his breath. The village, now quiet, is left in the aftermath of a fierce battle. Spider-Man, ready to move on, swings off into the night, prepared for whatever challenges await him in this new and dangerous world.
I found it interesting you picked Docky, who's the weakest of the Upper Moons. You don't think Spider-Man can handle number 5 or up?
Good point. I chose Docky for the scenario because her style of combat, primarily involving long-range, slicing attacks with her threads, could create an interesting dynamic with Spider-Man's agility and webbing. However, Upper Moon 5, Kyogai, would present a different, more complex challenge. Scenario: Spider-Man vs. Kyogai, Upper Moon 5. Setting: the fight occurs in an eerie, abandoned mansion with constantly shifting rooms and walls, Kyogai's demonic lair. This disorienting environment plays to Kyogai's strengths, adding an extra layer of difficulty for Spider-Man. The encounter: 1. Spider-Man's arrival. Spider-Man enters the mansion, quickly realizing that the layout is constantly changing. His spider sense tingles as he encounters Kyogai, who is manipulating the environment with his blood demon art. 2. Kyogai's attack. Kyogai uses his drum demon abilities to change the orientation of the room. He launches powerful drumbeat attacks, which cause destructive shockwaves and shift the walls, trying to trap Spider-Man. 3. Spider-Man's agility. Spider-Man adapts quickly to the shifting environment, using his webbing to stabilize himself and navigate the chaotic space. He dodges the shockwaves and counters with rapid web shooting and acrobatic maneuvers. Mid-fight dynamics. 4. Room shifting. The shifting walls create obstacles for Spider-Man, but he uses his agility to avoid being trapped. His spider sense helps him anticipate changes in the room's layout, allowing him to stay one step ahead of Kyogai's attacks. Number 5. Webbing and strategy. Spider-Man uses his webs to create temporary barriers and stabilize parts of the room, trying to limit Kyogai's ability to shift the environment. He focuses on finding a pattern in the shifting rooms to predict Kyogai's movements. 6. Kyogai's power. Kyogai intensifies his attacks, using more powerful drum beats and changing the room's layout more frequently. Spider-Man has to rely on quick reflexes and smart strategies to avoid being overwhelmed. Climactic moments. 7. Spider-Man's counterattack. Recognizing the need to adapt, Spider-Man begins to target Kyogai's drums, trying to disrupt his control over the room. He uses his webbing to bind and attack the drums while avoiding Kyogai's powerful shockwaves. 8. Final confrontation. With Kyogai's control over the environment diminishing, Spider-Man gains the upper hand. He manages to close in on Kyogai, using his webbing to immobilize him and deliver a decisive blow. Resolution. 9. Victory. Exhausted but triumphant, Spider-Man stands over the defeated Kyogai. The shifting room effects cease, and the mansion returns to normal. Spider-Man, having overcome the disorienting challenge, prepares to face whatever else the Demon Slayer world throws at him. In a fight with Kyogai, Spider-Man's agility and strategic use of his webbing would be crucial. Kyogai's ability to manipulate the environment presents a unique challenge, but with his quick reflexes and tactical thinking, Spider-Man could certainly handle the fight.
Who do you think the viewers would pick in this scenario? You think they'll agree with you?
Viewers might have diverse opinions on these scenarios. Here's a breakdown of potential viewpoints. 1. Spider-Man versus Docky. Fans of Spider-Man might argue that his agility, spider sense, and web shooting give him a significant advantage, allowing him to counter Docky's long-range attacks and overpower her. Fans of Demon Slayer could point out that despite Spider-Man's strengths, Docky's blood demon art and combat experience as an Upper Moon make her a formidable opponent. They might argue that Docky's abilities could still pose a serious threat. 2. Spider-Man vs. Kyogai. Spider-Man fans might appreciate the strategic depth of the fight against Kyogai and argue that Spider-Man's adaptability and quick thinking would allow him to handle the shifting environment and overcome Kyogai's attacks. Demon Slayer fans might emphasize Kyogai's control over the environment and argue that his abilities to manipulate the room would be a major challenge, potentially tipping the scales in his favor. Viewer preferences. For Spider-Man, viewers who appreciate superhero versatility might lean towards Spider-Man's chances of success due to his wide range of abilities and quick adaptability. For Demon Slayer characters, fans of the Demon Slayer universe might argue that demons, especially upper moons, have unique powers and combat skills that could give them the upper hand against Spider-Man, despite his abilities. Ultimately, it would be interesting to see how viewers weigh the different strengths and weaknesses of the characters from both universes. Engaging the audience with questions or polls about preferences could spark lively discussions and differing perspectives.
Well, ask them.
All right, YouTube fam, it's time to settle this. If Spider-Man were to face off against demons from the Demon Slayer universe, how do you think he'd fare? We've got two scenarios. One, Spider-Man versus Daki. Could Spidey's agility and web shooting outmatch Daki's razor-sharp threads and blood demon art? Two, Spider-Man versus Kyogai. How would Spider-Man handle a fight in Kyogai's shifting, disorienting mansion? Would his quick thinking and reflexes be enough to overcome Kyogai's control of the environment? Let us know in the comments who you think would come out on top in these battles. Are you Team Spider-Man or Team Demon Slayer? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more epic crossover discussions.